Got to shake you out of this.
Why?
Because you get to f him does not mean you got him. What you're saying, though, Lindsay, is that you go out with the intent. You go out with the intent knowing that you're going to get laid that night. Ladies, raise your hand if you have ever gone out on a night with the intent knowing that you were going to get laid that night. You have? Anybody else? Just you two? You have?
Miss Summers, I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
Yes, only because it's a guy that you're interested in.
No, you don't. I'm sorry. Start over.
No.
You don't know any of the guys.
Blank page.
Blank page.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you went out knowing you are going to get laid that night. Just you. Okay. Oh, you have done this before. You're like, somebody's getting picked tonight. Okay, cool.
No.
Cool. I just find this all really fascinating. Okay, so I want to bring up another study, and this is the one David Buss mentions it in his last book, and he talks about what happens, what we call the beer goggle effect. And so this has to do with short-term and long-term mating strategies for men and women. When women are asked what their long-term mating strategies are, they said they want a man of this height, this level of agreeableness, this level of intellect, and they usually choose pretty high for long-term partners. When they choose for short-term partners, one of the funny things is, while they might not choose for quite as high for intellect, they actually look for better-looking men. Meaning they would date Alex the accountant, but cheat with Brock the bartender, right? Or Brock the male stripper. Now, when men are asked what they want in long-term partners, same thing. They want low body count, they want loyalty, they want physical fitness, they want high intelligence and high agreeableness. When they ask men what they want in a short-term sexual partner, what Dr. Buss says, it got to embarrassingly low levels. Like, they didn't care at all. It was 18 to 80, blind, cripple, or crazy. Like, men would not care. Shout out to the U.S. Army. Like, they would not.
Desert flower.
Yeah, desert flower. They would not care at all. Like, literally, they did not care. Almost, the drunker they got, the closer it got to 2 a.m. In most places, I don't know where you guys live, but in Texas, 2 a.m. they stopped serving alcohol. At that point, they would succumb to extremely low levels of attractiveness or whatever just to have sex with somebody. Okay. The reason why I want to bring this up also is because some of you have said I was attracted to a guy because of a connection that I had. That's cool. And some of you said I was attracted to a guy because of his physical attractiveness. It's almost like there's a variety of reasons why women have sex. Like, there are numerous alpha characteristics that a man can have that cause him to have sex, besides two of you who said that you approached the man, which again, this is anecdotal, but is evidence not supporting Destiny's hypothesis.
Would one of those characteristics be actually approaching women and making an effort?
Okay.
Yes,
but
I would agree.
Okay, but the thing is,
one of them would be.
But Destiny said it was 95% of it, and I don't believe that. I think it's not 95%. Go ahead.
I want to say something. So my ex,
By the way,
man.
but I love your ex. He's an awesome dude.
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
Is he a beautiful man?
He is a beautiful man. Yeah, he's way better looking than me.
And the first time we had sex, I did not like it. I don't care how hot he was. I did not enjoy it. I said, I'm never going to see this guy again. He pursued me, and it took a couple months before I seen him again. And I was like, that was so bad. That was so awful. I didn't find him that attractive, to be honest, when we first had sex. And I stayed the second time that we had sex because we had a better night of, it was more enjoyable, and then we bonded. So it's kind of strange. The first time I had sex with him, I never thought I would see him again. Had he not pursued me for months afterwards and wanted to see me, I wouldn't have hung out with him again. And probably would have been in a 3-year crazy relationship. But it wouldn't have happened, So he was a beautiful man. The sex was terrible, and then after we had built chemistry, the sex was better after I had feelings for him. That makes sense.
Did he pursue you beforehand, or did you go, he's just good looking, but he's bad at sex?
No, he pursued me from the very beginning. Found me on Instagram.
Like, how long did he pursue before he hit it? 15 minutes.
No, it was a couple weeks, and I actually hung out with him, and we hooked up. I was bored, and I was like, oh my God, this guy had nothing to offer.
This was bored sex.
It was bored sex. It was 2020. It was COVID. You know what I mean?
Gray area
and
sex.
Yeah, and I was like, I will never see this guy again. And he texted, and I was like, I'm just not into you. But he kept pursuing me. I was bored. I was like, okay, I'm going to give him another chance.
So
that's attractive. Like, a guy, like, constantly making the effort and, like, putting in time.
Didn't you just tell me
that's attractive.
But what if the guy's creepy and he's on Instagram.
Not
he's
when
like
the
trying to
sex
make the
is
effort.
But I
bad.
think that, like, you can ignore him, or you, like, if you're not giving him as a woman, like, any indication that there's any interest, that's different. But, like, if
And
you're
it also-
engaging with him, that's different.
And it also depends on the effort that's made, too. There's some guys that'll just jump in your DMs and state 100 million times, oh my God, you're the hottest goddess I've ever seen. Goddess,
Would
you're
it be
so
fair to
hot.
say it's
But
the
like if you
quality of the
actually,
effort?
Yes,
exactly, that would
Quality.
be a fair statement.
Well, I've heard your explanation a million times, and it's usually the reason why the guy's persistent effort pays off is because he's at least somewhat good looking enough for like that to be endearing.
Yeah.
But like, if he's not good looking and he's gives you creep vibes and he continues and persists, now he's a stalker.
Yeah, but there's a block button for that too. There's a block button for that. But like a guy that's putting in time and effort, I'm sorry, that's like husband material.
It wasn't that much effort. I'm going to say this.
But they need a minimum level of physical attractiveness and a minimum level of subsistence. Like, they can't be broke and living on the couch. Go ahead.
No.
It was
unless they're her guys.
Unless he's got a 12-inch
You know what? Because I'm a breadwinner, so I don't date
broke.
guys for what they have. You know what I mean? Because I make my own money. I'm a self-made multimillionaire. I make my own money, so I don't really care what anyone brings to the table because I'm good. But the thing is, after that relationship, I realized I do need a date within my own tax bracket because it is hard. It is hard if you're not because
to want to do things and then people
if I go on a trip, I have to pay double.
Sab,
it's on the list.
Sab, you and me have been friends for 10 years.
Yes.
More
than that, since 2009. Since 2009.
2011.
Oh, 2011. God, okay.
Okay, so here's the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I want you to know I'm coming from a good place here, okay?
Okay.
You're telling me you want a guy who's in your tax bracket.
Higher.
Right, that's higher than your tax bracket. But at the same time, you are selling guy-girl on your fans of you with your ex.
No, I am, yes.
Do you understand? There are guys out here listening to this right now who are in that tax bracket.
Well, I don't want to square.
And they're like
she wants the freaky undercover ones.
Right,
I like, you know what it is? Someone that's going to be with me, first of all, I'm an alpha female. I can't,
No, you're not.
You don't think so?
You are most definitely not.
You have to be okay with, I do make my own money. I just bought my $4 million house.
No,
I want...
Sab, you keep describing to me what you want, and I'm telling you what the world has to give. The amount of men, okay, let's just say, the amount of men that make over $400,000 a year in the United States, what percentage of men is that?
I don't know.
But that would that be your tax bracket?
No.
Or higher?
Higher.
Okay, higher than that. So the amount of men who make $400,000 a year is 1%.
Yeah, I'm rare.
Hey, no, hold on. Not
Never
you.
tell her the odds.
You're rare. They're rare. Okay, so of that 1% of men, some of them are fat and ugly, and you're not interested. Hey, what percentage of men are over 6 feet tall? You want a man who's 6 feet tall, right?
Well, I have another ex that fits all that criteria. Okay. And honey, I know you're watching. I want you back, daddy. No.
Okay. Right. So my next question is the amount of men that are over 6 feet tall. What do you think that is?
I find them all of my
But Sab, you're not with them now, and you're telling me you want to find a guy in your town.
How come you're not with them now?
You know what? There's one ex I do want back. There is one.
Sab, you're not listening to me.
Okay.
What I'm expressing to you is you're not with that ex for a reason, because he has more options than you do. That's my point.
No. We have, I think, the same, because I always seem to surprise him. No, the thing with him is...
Sab, I love you. I got to shake you out of this.
Why?
Because you get to him does not mean you got him.
No, we were together also together for 3 years.
I understand that you're together for 3 years, but you're not with him now, and you chose a dude.
No, but I was just on FaceTime with him earlier.
I believe you, and
You met him.
And of course I met him. So she's a
Girl,
great.
I kind of want to shake you right now.
Like I want to shake you out of this. I don't want to physically shake her. I love her. I want to make it cool. But what I'm trying to get you out of this mindset because you're confused with this. Because I had sex with this guy who's rich and good looking. That means that you're dude. That is not your man.
We dated. We were together.
Right.
Are you
he didn't sleep with anyone else? He didn't sleep with anyone else for 3 years?
No, he did, of course.
Okay.
And I
oh my God, I'm going home.
But I didn't say that he didn't. I never said that he didn't. I never said that he didn't. But we were open and honest about our relationship, and I was okay with that. I was accepting of it because he was honest. Now, if he was bullshitting me and lying and playing games, then maybe I wouldn't have that would have me off. But the honesty, the transparency was there, the communication was there, and to me, honesty is more important than anything.
Got it.
More important than being in an upper tax bracket?
I don't. Yeah. If my last ex was pretty honest, we'd probably.
So if he was a sandwich artist at Subway, you'd be all right.
If you told me broke and just good looking, I'd say you got a good chance. If you tell me as you stratify only 10% of men in the United States make more than $170,000 a year. 1% of men. See, look at your face. That is exactly my point. That is exactly my point. Because you think it's different. It's not.
I'm like, I make that a month.
14% of men are over 6 feet tall. You guys, ready? Here we go. 6 feet tall.
There's something wrong with me. I'm not going to get it.
6 feet tall, make $100,000 a year, not obese, not married. Ready? 0.38% of men in the United States.
Okay, well, put me in that percentage.
Uh-oh.
Usually the guys that are over 6 feet tall don't have the biggest cocks.
Okay, is that what's going on?
I don't know.
Spicy Halima, educate them, girl. Educate
Does
them.
he have to have to like compensate?
No, as long as he
making as much money.
as long as he knows how to use it.
Well, you know what I?
Yes.
Wait, but how tall is everybody though?
Allie, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
Too much.
We know.
I'm taller than all the short girls.
Just, the bigger usually. The only ones that have really surprised me though in real life have been like the Samoans, for such big people they are. Every time it had been so disappointing. I not even.
Samoans.
Who surprised you the most in the best way?
I can tell what a
Shout
guy
out to my Samoan brothers.
Who surprised you the best? Like in terms of like you were surprised, like
size wise.
Yeah.
I can tell what a guy's working with by his hand.
Yes.
You really think there's a correlation there?
Yes, 100%.
No.
I've been doing it my entire existence.
So
there needs to be a recent study.
I think there should be a study.
There are studies on this.
White guy.
I can do it. I could already tell you who would be thicker than who.
What's the secret?
Lindsay, there are studies. There's no correlation. There isn't.
I can tell you who would be thicker between you two.
God, so ridiculous.
And that's generally not even
Gentlemen, let's go. In the back.
Wait, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
All right, guys, hold your hands up. I'll tell you who's the thickest.
I want to know.
Let me see. Hold it up. Hold it up.
Like flip the camera.
I got something better to do than hold up my fucking hands. Dude.
Okay, well, I can say who's average in length.
Are you trying to say
Well,
bigger?
I think you might have the thickest stick in this room.
Oh, sure.
I agree. Neither of them.
Sadly,
You guys can
we will
figure it out
never know.
later and let me know.
Okay, so let's go back to what I was saying before. What happens often, right? The other thing that I want to do that's different about this show is like some of you guys are really close friends of mine. I don't want you to go throughout your life believing that because you a power forward or you a guy who's a billionaire or you Drake, all them hoes with Drake. I don't want you to believe
Not
that.
me.
I don't want you to believe because you did that, then all of a sudden that is now the baseline for the type of man that you're going to get from now on. Because when you believe that, you end up in a situation where the supply and demand curves never meet. They never meet, and you end up in a situation, no offense, Sav, where you are, where you keep thinking, oh, I've got this guy for... No, Sav, you don't.
Let me tell you what I'd rather have. I'm going to tell you what I'd rather have. You know, I've been in a lot of relationships. I know that the more successful I become, the harder it is to date. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
I will not lie. It is. It's so hard because my whole life I said I'd give up all the money in the world to find a man that just loved me. And you know what? I've said that, and I've stuck it out for years and years and years. And you know what? To be honest, as a woman, you still want to be wined and dined. You still deserve to be taken out on dates. You shouldn't have to go on a vacation and have to pay double. If a vacation with you and I is $7,000 and we go 50-50, you shouldn't have to pick up the tab for your partner. You shouldn't have to do these things. And when you do, and you do it out of love, subconsciously, you naturally resent them. It causes resentment. How much you love them or not, it does.
You're saying as a woman, you start resenting men when you have to pay for them?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Sign her up.
Yes.
Are you also saying
welcome to the red pill.
Are you also saying that you could not fall in love with a man who does not make as much as you?
No, that's not true because you can ask Sartain. I've been in love with men that don't make near as much as I make, and I've tried.
They don't last because
naturally, subconsciously, you build up this resentment, and you don't mean to do it. But every time I went to the Bahamas for 4 days, $20,000 in 4 days because I picked up the entire tab because I'm used to going on these types of vacations.
Yeah, but you make that in a week on OnlyFans.
Yeah,
you know, I make that in a day.
Here's the thing.
No, you're right. It's a week.
You talk about this all the time. It is very difficult for a woman to respect a man when she makes that much more money than him and she's constant.
But I've tried.
It's very difficult. What a possible hypothesis. You guys follow along if you don't agree with this. Most of the time, when in a couple between a man and a woman, if a man leads, those tend to be healthier relationships. Now, some people may argue, but studies tend to show that is the case. Okay, maybe you guys have a different opinion, but that's what it tends to be. what happens is if a woman is making significantly more than a man, and then he's like, no, it's time for me to lead. She's like, but that's my credit card. That's the point where this divergence has. And it talks about, like, even if you go back to the Bible, it's like worse to be a man who doesn't provide for his family. It's better to be a non-believer. It's actually worse to be a man who doesn't provide for a family than to be a non-believer. That's what it says in the Bible. So, like, when you go back to that whole concept, you understand that's what makes it difficult. Now, you put yourself in this tax bracket where you've priced yourself out of the range. To where you're gonna, and that was my out of the market. Point. That's my only point.
Yeah, no, and you're right, and you're right, and I try. You know, I don't think I'm better than anyone by any means, and I love to love. I love to be in love, and I love love. I'm passionate and romantic.
I love love.
You know, and I then become more in my masculine energy, and I don't get to flourish in my femininity, and I don't think that's fair to me because I'm such a woman. You know, I'm such a girl. I love. You know, but it's hard to be in your femininity when you pay all the bills, when you're planning the vacations, you're planning the trips. It's really hard to flourish in that.